from my heart and from my hand. Why don't people understand my intention?
Brainstorm is a character I really like. The incredibly smart Autobot behind the creation of the Headmaster process. He uses his intellect and knowledge, as well as his great speed, as his weapons against the Decepticons. That, and I mean he turns into an X-Wing. How can you hate that? He, along with the rest of the Headmasters, haven't made a major translation into modern Transformers lines for a long while, which is very unfortunate. Chrome Dome, Hardhead, Brainstorm and Highbrow had some of the coolest designs in the whole post-1986 toy line, and were just begging for an update until the excellent Titans Return line flooded onto shelves a couple of years back, giving us the original Headmasters in a brand new deluxe style, and later on, with awesome new paint jobs and tooling for their Japanese Transformer Legends release. Hardhead, Chrome Dome and Highbrow were easy to find, just head into your local Toys R Us, Kmart or Big W, and they were there on the shelves. Brainstorm, though, was quite the odd one out. He was the only Headmaster to be a store exclusive in his original Titans Return release, being exclusive to Walgreens drugstores in America of all places. Then he got released as part of a Comic-Con exclusive 3-pack with a Sentinel Prime I really want, and a Windblade that I don't think anyone wants. This version was painted up in a very different coloration to his Walgreens release, with a powder blue for his body and a smoky grey cockpit. I came across the Comic-Con version on eBay at an absolute steal of a price years ago, and I was totally content with him for the longest time. That wasn't enough Brainstorm for us to handle, however. To honour the often forgotten Headmaster warriors, Hasbro have decided to release a brand new exclusive subline of retro Headmaster toys. The Titans Return molds with G1 toy style colour schemes and the previously Japanese exclusive facial tooling. Brainstorm was there in the first wave, just waiting at my local Target for me to pick him up. The first Australian release of this figure, and it wasn't even at a markup. Hallelujah! Since I've got both versions of the Deluxe Brainstorm mold, I've decided to put each of them back to back, showing their similarities, differences, and everything in between. Let's see how they measure up. This is the Battle of the Brainstorm.
Science.
Retro Brainstorm came in this really nice looking cardboard box, mimicking the style of his original 1987 Generation 1 release. You get a big window showing off the vehicle and head, plus an edited version of his original character art, sporting the new anime-accurate head sculpt. There's even a sick mural on the back, along with his tech specs and a short bio. A world of constant change, are you joking me? Since I got him loose though, my Comic-Con Brainstorm came in, like, a box. Like, I don't have one to hand, but I don't need to. You probably know what a nondescript cardboard box looks like. The actual box of the 3-pack had another rad mural on it, and probably a window on the front hidden by a flap, I think. Oddly, the Titan Force box set version called Brainstorm Charon, or Charon in certain markets. Why? I mean, I know why, trademarks and all that, but why Charon? Last time I checked, Brainstorm wasn't the bloke who ferried the souls of the dead across the River Styx on the journey to Hades. Though that would be kind of an awesome take on Greek mythology now that I think about it. To make things less confusing, I'm probably going to call the Comic-Con Brainstorm Charon from here on out, just to cut down on the Brainstorm counter. Since Brainstorm was packaged in vehicle mode first, let's show that off. Brainstorm's alternate mode is some sort of futuristic space fighter with wheels, similar to the X-Wing from Star Wars. Instead of an astromech droid though, a nice aerodynamic fin is taking up the top spot. Oodles of sculpted detail fill out the wings and the body, the panel lines really being accentuated by the premium matte paint job. A neat touch is that the Autobot symbols are actually printed with a silver backing instead of a white one, imitating the reflective shine of the Generation 1 toy's foil seals. The gorgeous panel lining gets kicked up a notch when you take a squiz at his underside. It's borderline 90s era Gundam, and you can easily see more sticker mimic and tambographs just chilling out on the bottom. The vehicle's even got some weapon storage. If his 2 nose-cone mounted buster cannons aren't enough for you, unpeg the gun from the 5mm post and you get Brainstorm's Photon Pulse Cannon, though it's oddly the same rifle used for Chrome Dome and Breakaway. The cockpit on the fighter mode isn't just for show. This clear amber slab is where his Headmaster is kept. Flip it open and you can take the lad out of his seating arrangement. This is Autobot Arcana, not to be confused with Leia Organa.
X-Wing fighter, please! Princess Leia, come in!
Connor's got some sparse but nice looking detail. Even if he's isn't the head of style, or what is it with Brainstorm getting Chrome Dome's hand-me-downs? Like all the Headmasters from Titan's Return, the head is ball-jointed, as are the arms, and it's got hinges at the hips, plus some fused but bending knees. Flip them around though, and...
Oh, hi Mark.
Yeah, unlike the G1 toys, the Titan's Return blokes just have the face kicking it on the back. Not much to complain about though, seeing as they're smaller and more cost-effective than the OG guys. The head is gorgeously sculpted though, fitting with the animation accuracy thing that's been Taka Atomi's wheelhouse for the past 2 or 3 decades. They could have done with an orange face instead of this lemon yellow. The yellow isn't even accurate to the original toy, so I'm not sure where they pulled this from. Charon's IDW style coloration looks almost boring by comparison. The glossy powder blue instead of bright teal almost makes him look like he's on his deathbed or something. The reflective Autobot logos are still there, but goodness gracious, look at the underside! It's so flat! Where did all the tampograph detail go? Oh yeah, probably went into putting the smallest ever Autobot logo on his windshield. Said smoky tinted windshield flips up to reveal Brainstorm's head, Titan Master, Autobot Tesla. Yeah, they couldn't call him Arcana yet, so the name was substituted with a bootleg electric car manufacturer. Tesla's got some bonus yellow paint applications on his eyes though, so chalk one up for Charon. Transformation for Brainstorm and Charon are exactly the same, seeing as they're literally the same toy with different paint schemes and head tooling. Everything moves in just the right way, with legs and arms unfurling really neatly. It's not very much like the original toy, but there's a good reason for that which I'll get into later. On Retro Brainstorm, everything is incredibly tight and solid. Just listen to those satisfying snaps. Charon's relatively smoother by comparison, with the detents feeling less solid, especially on the wings. Finally, when the body's all completely transformed, it's time to head Come on, don't lie, you've said it at least once while doing this. Finally, here's everyone's favourite Catholic scientist. I'm not even joking about that, by the way. Brainstorm actually crosses himself in the anime. Brainstorm's robot mode looks very clean, with the bright yellow cockpit making quite the impact at his chest, and the seat making for his new abdomen. More matte paint is added for a cohesive look, and the tampography we saw on his underside is crisp and visible on his shoulders and shins. From a rear view though, yeah, he's got a bit of a backpack. Fortunately, if you despise a backpack on your transforming robot, you can just pluck it off and turn it into a shield for him. However, I'm quite against parts formation, so I keep it where it's supposed to be. Articulation isn't up to current post-War for Cybertron era standards, but is still serviceable. Ball-jointed head, really weird universal joints for his shoulders which bump into his noggin, which with matte paint is inevitably going to bring about chips in the finish, a swivel up at his bicep, a pretty standard 90-degree elbow bend, a totally unencumbered wrist rotation, which is rare for a figure of this time period, a nice, tight waist joint, ball-jointed hips, a thigh rotation, and a knee which goes just over 90 degrees. You can get this mold into some pretty nice poses on the ground, or as nice as you can get without ankle tilts and with those wonky shoulders. He can't do a kneeling pose unfortunately, so I guess that can be crossed off. But with a 3mm hole in the back of his waist piece, you can easily bust out an action base and display him in some real dynamic aerial poses. This bird was meant to fly, baby! Charon's exactly the same transformation-wise, except with Tesla's toy-accurate face coming to the forefront when he's ahead. Compare him to the Retro Brainstorm though, and yeesh, Charon is bare, with that glossy powder blue taking up most of the torso and his legs, as well as his detachable kibble chunk at the back. Well, an upside of the backpack detaching is that you can flip out a landing skid, plug on the rifle, and give Arcana and Tesla their own battle sled. Oh, look at little Tesla right there. He's gonna go help out Brainstorm. How cute. Size comparison time. Here's both Brainstorms next to a Mecha Construx figure, a Chorokyu Volkswagen Beetle, a Pocket Titans mech, Transformers Generation Selects Deluxe Exhaust, War for Cybertron Netflix Voyager Hotline, the high-grade Zeta Plus A1 Unicorn version, Diamond Select Kingdom Hearts 2 Sark, Cobra Commander from the Dollar General G.I. Joe wave, Jakks Pacific 4-inch Classic Sonic, Leader Class Soundwave from the Bumblebee movie, Generation 1 Sky Scorcher Tornado, and Titans Return Deluxe Blur with Hyperfire. Flash update, you thought this was just going to be a review of Brainstorm, but I tricked you! Double review time, all in one, baby! Deluxe Blur and Hyperfire review time, go! This is why Brainstorm's transformation didn't mirror his G1 toys. It's because the Titans Return Brainstorm figure was actually a retool of Blur, swapping out the Titan Master faceplate, vehicle nose cone, intake area, adding on the shoulder wings, and replacing Blur's antenna with Brainstorm's fin. That's also why the nose cone detaches. It's because Blur's G1 figure actually had a shield made of the front of his car mode, and this is a modern interpretation of that. I think Blur's the one mold from Titans Return that's seen the most usage, with the domestic and overseas version of him, plus the 4 versions of Brainstorm, as well as a heavy retool into RC and some chick from the comics called Nautica. Alright then, Blur's pretty much the same as Brainstorm, bar the wings, but he's cast in a really lovely, sparkly, swirly metallic blue plastic with a shimmer to absolutely die for. It's more accurate to the toy than the cartoon, but I'm the kind of guy who's fine with toy accuracy over anime slavery. Besides, if you prefer his indigo and white coloration, Takara made an excellent version for their Transformer Legends line, one that almost rivals the Studio Series 86 release. His Titan Master, Hyperfire, is unique among the rest of the squad due to his extra transformation step, pulling out and pushing in an antenna. This is something Hyperfire shares with Fracas, or Fracas, Scourge's Titan Master, though Hyperfire pulls it off a touch neater than he does. Transformation on Blur is exactly the same as Brainstorm. Put head in cockpit, fold up legs, yada yada yada. The end result is a really slick looking hovercar, full of dynamic curves and sweeping angles. However, it is pretty dull in this mode, with all the paint being front loaded, leaving nothing on the bottom. Yikes. At least we can use these little pegs on the vehicle to attach a few Titan Masters, so you can let Arcana and Throttle hitch a ride with Hyperfire to kick Galvatron in the nuts or something. So overall, which is the better figure? That's a very tough question. While I prefer the toy accurate head of Charon, and have a soft spot for him as he was my first con-exclusive figure, Retro Brainstorm is aesthetically superior to my eyes, and the anime head is starting to grow on me a little. Ease of access is also a factor in this. Retro Brainstorm is still being sold at Walmart stores in America, and at Target stores here in Australia. The original Titans Return Brainstorm is a long out of print, hard to find store exclusive, and Charon was a Comic-Con exclusive, so he's prohibitively expensive to pick up nowadays. Sadly, that makes the two ways of acquiring a mouth-plated Brainstorm a bit of a pain in the wallet. However, there is a third option for those who want a toy-styled head for their Brainstorms. The Takara LGEX Headmaster set. This small box came with 6 Titan Masters. The American faceplates for Brainstorm, Hardhead and Chrome Dome, yes that means the ugly IDW head, ew, as well as Flywheels, Grimlock and Brawn, or Gong as he's known in Japan. With this set, you can turn any version of Brainstorm into the US version. It does cost a bit of a pretty penny, but it might actually be easier for you if you can find a set on the cheap. But back on the topic at hand, which is the better figure out of the two? For ease of purchase, better paint and detailing, and the usage of a head that hasn't been seen outside of Japan until now, the big brain gold medal goes to Retro Headmasters Deluxe Brainstorm. I'm sorry, Charon. You've still got a special place in my heart, but what if you don't want to do all the hunting and scrounging through Walmarts and eBays and that? Well, these aren't the only options for modern Brainstorms. If you really want a more IDW accurate Brainstorm because you're a psycho or something, then Hasbro put out a Voyager class figure of him during the 30th anniversary, which I've heard is really good. And it includes the Spidster Int readout of his original G1 toy, too. If you're a scale nut and prefer things to be a bit bigger, and find knockoffs in your house, Then there's an oversized version of the Titan's Return figure by Wei Jiang, called Juga Fighter. It's been upscaled from Deluxe to Voyager class, and has die-cast metal for the toes and waist piece. Mine's absolute crap, but yours might be better. If you want things smaller, then there's the Versus Kong Ming by Mech Fans Toys, which is closer to Legend scale. Hell, if you want to go full Mad Lad, then get Blur or even Trigger Happy. Bust out a 3D printer and make your own Brainstorm. The best thing about toy collecting is that you have options for this stuff. And if you don't like something, then you have the power to choose differently. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. By the way, I'm just kidding. The best figure of the two is Titan's Return Blur, baby! Woo! Come on now, play me out, Brainstorm!
Yeah.